Last year, during the national exams, the country was shocked by the sheer number of teens who were either sitting their exams while pregnant or in delivery rooms.
Kilifi County recorded the highest number. At least 13,000 teens in the county were pregnant between January and December 2018. It was the making of a national crisis that demanded the country's attention.
Critics have argued for the need to introduce comprehensive sex education in schools. However, the church remains adamant that sex education must not be introduced in schools, arguing that providing such information would be giving the youth license to engage in sexual activity.
So which way in this debate? NTV's Rose Wangoi tackles this sensitive subject in tonight's special report, Teens with Kids.
Aisha, not her real name, is 16 years old. At this age, it is a common expectation that a child is still under the guidance and protection of family, friends, and the community at large. Aisha is 7 months pregnant. This is her first pregnancy. She is naive and shy. She moves about listlessly, trying to hide her protruding belly with the drape of her oversized lasso. Last year, the course of Aisha's life changed forever when she discovered she was pregnant.
Kutokea mwezi wa 11 nimeona tofauti ya kama yuna mimba, ndio nikamuuliza, akasema mfulana ambaye kwa ndiye alifanya hiyo kitendo.
The father of her child is 19 years old.
Yule mwenye ile mimba, ya vijana ambao ni bodaboda, hakufika form 4. Pengine anaweza kuwakuta njiani wametoka shule, akafanya kuwasaidia kuwapeleka nyumbani. Kwa hivyo katika vile kuna usaidizi huo ndio ambayo kwamba imeendelea, hata ndio ikatokea hiyo kitu. Kaona heri niende kituo cha polisi nikapata usaidizi. Kule kotini mara ya kwanza ameenda akakataa. Baada ya mwezi mmoja akakubali. Mvulana akaja akashikwa akawekwa ndani. Mpaka sasa tunaendelea na kesi.
As her bump started to swell, Aisha's anxiety increased. She was in standard 8 and was meant to sit this year's Kenya Certificate Primary Education exam. Unfortunately, she dropped out of school last month when her pregnancy started showing, fearing she'd be ridiculed by her friends.
Huyo mwenyewe anajiona aibu, maana vile umeonaje? Hata dukani penye kumtuma, hataki. Ni ile aibu tu. Barabarani watu wanapita hivi. Hataki kabisa. Yuko hapa nyumbani, alikuwa ni mwerevu, anafanya vizuri katika shule. Na masomo yake yalikuwa mazuri. Hata mimi mwenyewe kule kumsemea sana nilikuwa sina haja na kwa sababu unajua mtu akiwa vile roho yake inakuja kidogo, hata mtu akafikiria akaenda kajitia kitanzi. Kwa hivyo mtu akiwa namna ile nimpatie ile roho.
Mzee Charo is not new to this. His eldest daughter also gave birth when she was only 13 years old.
Yule mkubwa wake hivi imekuwa vile vile. Akaangia mimba namna ile, lakini huyo mwenyewe akaamua akaolewa.
Aisha's case is just one of the thousands of teenage girls who fall victim to early pregnancy in the society, and Kilifi County is at the heart of this crisis. Her story bears strong resemblance to Purity. In January 2019, Purity, not her real name, reopened school, eager to tackle the new year and class, but unaware that she was pregnant. A month later, she missed her menses, and that's when she suspected it.
Tulipofungua shule mwezi wa kwanza, wasichana 3 walikuwa na mimba. Ndio head teacher wetu akasema, hapa basi msichana yote akitia mimba atenda za nyumbani. Sijijui na jihofu. Nilikuwa na urafiki na yeye, ndo nilipofika mwezi wa 10 ndo tukafanya hao mapenzi. Nikangojea mwezi wa 11 sikupata, wa 12 sikupata, wa kwanza sikupata, wa 3 pia sikupata head. Nikachukuliwa na mamangu nikaenda hospitali nikaenda pima. Ndio ikajulikana niko mjamzito.
Her boyfriend in Form 3 is responsible for the pregnancy.
Boyfriend wangu alikuwa akinipea pesa, yani matumizi. Ukimwambia sina nini, pesa ya kama viatu yanipa, nienda kununua, pesa ya kutumia yanipa. Kama uko na shida yoyote ukimwelezea kufanyia. Mimi nikadhania Sasa mvulana wa watu ananipenda. Pia mimi acha nimpende, ndo akalala na mimi, ndo mimi sikujua kumbe nitapata mimi.
She's had to deal with hurtful comments from her peers and neighbors.
Nilivyojipata kwa niko na mbele ilikuwa skuli sana. Mtu wa shule wasichana waweza kuta wasichana 3, 4 wameketi, ukipita hivi wanakusengenya, alafu ukiangalia hivi wanakucheka. Sasa huwa mimi nafikiria. Ndio mamangu akasema acha kufikiria, tu unaweza kujiua kwa sababu ya hayo. Kama ni hayo yamekuwa tayari.
Neither physically or emotionally ready to give birth, Purity went to school until she was 7 months pregnant when she got tired and took a rest.
Mamangu alisema kama uko na mimba, mvulana ni wa wapi? Mvulana mwenyewe alikuwa yasoma. Ndio alikuwa anajua, alikuwa habari hana, ndio akaamba mamake kwa ulifanya hivi msichana wa watu, uko na mimba. Akasema ni hivyo nilifanya. Sasa utamhudumia? Akasema nitamhudumia. Akizaa mtoto atabaki nyumbani, mama endelee na masomo.
Purity says she feels bitter about the turn of events in her life.
Nikizaa huyu mtoto huyu sitarejelea tena, maana itakuwa ni funzo. Mwenzangu atakuwa akaendelea na masomo. Sasa mimi nikifanya hivi, si nitakuwa nabaki tu nyumbani. Ndo sitarejelea tena. Itakuwa ndo ni mwanzo tena, nitakuwa mwisho mpaka nimalize masomo yangu.
Hardly 50 yards away from Purity's homestead is Joyce. 15-year-old Joyce, also a funny name, is new to all this. A heavily pregnant Joyce is due any time now. It was in November 2018 when Joyce, a class 5 pupil at a public primary school in Ganze, realized something was off. She had been feeling sick, gaining weight, and was unsure of the cause.
Nilipata mimba, ilikuwa na stress kwa mzazi.
Joyce was hoping to continue with her studies as she waits to give birth.
Nilipofungwa shule nikaenda shule, mwalimu akasema nirudi nyumbani. Nilikuwa na uchungu baada ya kufukuzwa shule. Manake nilikuwa nataka nisome.
The father of her child is a boy in standard 5.
Nilikuwa na uhusiano na mvulana ambaye tulikuwa tunasoma sote. Baada ya kujua huyo mvulana akatoroka, sasa yuko kwao.
Joyce is devastated and lost. Her boyfriend carries on with his schooling uninterrupted.
Ningejua singekuwa na uhusiano na huyo boyfriend. Nataka nizae nirudi shule, sitaki nipate mtoto mwingine.
Carrying the pregnancy has been a difficult experience. Her body and mind are not prepared for the rigors of childbirth. Her story is not different from that of 15-year-old Naomi, not her real name. While 3 months pregnant, Naomi, who was still hiding the pregnancy from her mother, could not keep up with school and the sicknesses that come with pregnancy. Her mother was summoned by the head teacher who made the revelation.
Mwalimu alikwenda ngambia mtoto wako ana mimba. Akaitwa huyo mtoto mwenyewe. Akaja, ndio tukajamuuliza. Akasema ni hivyo. Hai. Mimi nimeshutuka. Pa yule hana yale mambo ya kusema na watu, mara umuone wafanya hivi. Hana. Yeye Jacques ni vile ni nuo pole alionao ule. Mimi hata nikashangaa, naona tu nurongo.
Naomi says the man responsible lured her with lies, gifts, and money. They used to meet every evening after school to have sex. Then, in December 2018, she got pregnant.
Nilikuwa surprise December, ndo nikajua sasa niko na mimba.
Huyo mvulana ametelea mimba. Mimi sijaongea naye. Amenionyesha. Akasema ni mtu fulani. Abasi haribu huyo mtoto wangu hata si bodaboda. Hai. Hata ni fundi wa kujenga. Hai.
The only thing that bothers Naomi's mother is that her daughter has brought shame to the family.
Mimi niko peke yangu kweli, mzazi mwenzangu amekufa tayari. Mimi ndiye ambaye nabambanya. Ndiye ambaye natafuta ile mpango ya kuwa matumie. Nataka akizaa arudi shule. Asome.
Amina, not her real name, is 15 years old. Watching how she stares at her baby betrays the struggle to cope with motherhood, because clearly it came too soon. Amina would like to go and play with her friends, but she has a 4-month-old baby to care for, so she can't go to school anymore, let alone play.
Msichana wangu wa kwanza mwaka jana alitungwa mimba na mwalimu wa msikiti ambao ni ustadhi. Sasa nilipomhoji akasema yule mwalimu ndio alikuwa akifanya mapenzi na yeye. Nikamuuliza alikulazimisha? Akasema hakunilazimisha, lakini yeye alikuwa ananiambia tu kila mara nikienda madrasa ananiambia maneno hayo, mpaka mwisho sasa ikabidi nikubali. Msichana alikuwa anakuja hapa saa nyingine kuchelewa, lakini mimi sikuwa nafuatilia kwa sababu nilikuwa naona labda saa nyingine kule kuna kazi zingine za kusafisha pale ile kiwanja. Hata sikuwa natazamia kwamba anaweza fanya kitendo kama hicho. Nilikuwa namwamini sana. Nilikuwa na hasira kali sana. Ningempata, sijui serikali ingesemaje, kwa sababu huyo ndio mtoto wangu wa kwanza ambaye alikuwa mimi ndio yeye nimpatie ile nafasi ya kwanza, ili hao wengine pia waonyeshe mfano mzuri. Lakini sasa kwa vile sikuweza kumpata, amekimbia, acha serikali ichukue mkondo wake.
Kama wenzangu hao wametoka wanaenda nyumbani, hata toka sote, kwa nigusa nasema nibakie nyuma, wenzangu wakiwa wakienda. Wanabakia nyuma, alafu wananiambia kwamba njoo. Mimi walikuwa sijui kwamba alikuwa ananitia nini, wanaenda. Sasa nikifika hapo ananigusa, akaanza kunigusa. Huyu mwalimu alikuwa anataka tufanye urafiki mimi na yeye, lakini sikujua kwamba mbeleni nitapata ujauzito. Mimi nilikuwa innocent. Wazazi wangu walipokuwa wakiniangalia ndio wakagundua kwamba niko na ujauzito, ndio nikaambiwa, lakini mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa sikujua kwamba niko na ujauzito.
She sat for the 2018 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examination while she was 8 months pregnant. Luckily, Amina's teachers were understanding and encouraged her to attend school until she sat for the national examinations.
Na majibu yake yalitoka vizuri. Alipata alama 269.
For now, Amina, whose dream is to become a teacher, is trapped in the unfamiliar grounds of motherhood.
Nilikuwa funzo nikirudi shule, sitaki mambo mengi ya boyfriend, nataka kuconcentrate na mambo ya masomo.
Nimeamua tu kumpeleka shule ya upili, tamu ya pili, kwa sababu yule mtoto niliuliza madaktari, wakanipatia ushauri kwamba mtoto ni anyonye miezi 6 maziwa ya mama, ndio afya yake itakuwa nzuri.
During the 2018 national examinations for schools at both primary and secondary level, the country was shocked by the high number of candidates reported pregnant or in labor. In Kilifi, for instance, the county has so far recorded over 17,000 early pregnancies. This has affected transition of girls to higher levels of education. Over 13,000 teenage pregnancies had been reported between January and November 2018, with Rabai sub-county leading with 28% of the cases. According to the county government, the region has recorded almost 3,000 cases of teen pregnancies between January and March 2019. Most of the girls are aged 15 to 19, while some as young as 14 years have already given birth. The numbers could be far much higher, given that some cases go unreported. About 30% of the births in the county in the last 3 months involved girls in that age bracket. Some blame the teen sex epidemic on the high levels of poverty in Kilifi, illiteracy, poor parental guidance, idle youth and joblessness.
Watoto wakienda boarding school wanatembea watoto kwa watoto. Pia walimu pia wanalala na watoto wakiwa boarding schools. Malazi pia ni challenge kwa sababu wazazi hawana nyumba, wanalala pamoja na watoto, watoto wanalala kando, wazazi pia kando. Kwa hivyo hiyo inachangia watoto kufanya mambo yao pia huko kando.
Hizi mimba za mapema zinaletwa na sisi wazazi kutokuwa karibu na wale watoto, kuwapatia yale mawaidha ambayo yanastahili, kumkanya kama anafanya kitendo ambacho si cha kisawa, unamwambia hivi sivyo, fata hivi.
Another contributing factor is the boda business.
Watu wa bodaboda wanaharibu watoto.
Kwa sababu wanawasoti mambo madogo madogo. Kama pengine kuwanunulia lunch, kuwabeba, waende shule, kama shule ni mbali, anawabeba, mwishowe anamwambia pia mimi nahitaji unisaidie pia.
In a move by the county government to curb early pregnancies, the night morning events popularly known as disco matanga were banned.
Chief hana askari siku hizi. Askari wako independent na sisi. Sasa wakati mwingine unakuta tunajaribu kung'ang'ana, tunatuma askari. Halafu wakati mwingine wakiwa compromised, mambo inaenda hivyo na unakuta kwamba disco linaweza kuendelea mpaka usiku wote. Kulikuwa na disco mahali kule Petanguo. Sasa askari wakaenda kujaribu kung'ang'ana kuchukua vile vifaa. Dakika za mwisho walipigwa, kuna wawili walipigwa mawe, halafu mpaka gari ya DC nayo ikapigwa.
Research done in Kilifi County by Plan International last year indicated that most girls lack adolescent sexual and reproductive health knowledge, and this was placed as the top contributor at 31%. Girls' love for money was ranked second at 28%, followed by girls receiving favors from teachers, which was ranked at 18%. Forced sex and rape was rated at 11%. The age of consent in Kenya is 18, and any sexual activity with a person under the age of 18 is considered sexual abuse and a criminal offense.
More than 40% of child pregnancy cases reported is child to child. The boy is 14, the girl is 14 or 15, and they had consented sex, but it's become pregnant. There is a court ruling that all of them, they should be treated as children in need of care and protection.
Msichana ndiye anabaki nyumbani, mvulana anaendelea kusoma akiambiwa ni mdogo. Kwa hivyo tumeomba serikali pia mvulana apate adhabu yake ya kitoto.
Kila mmoja ako na haki yake, hata mhalifu ako na haki yake. Ama unapeleka case kule kotini, halafu kuna hii mambo ya kutoa bond. Baada ya siku kadhaa unakuta mtu amerudi, yule mhalifu. Miaka miwili kesi iendelee, unakuta hiyo kesi inaenda mpaka inakuwa dissolved hivyo.
Out of the cases which were reported in the dispensaries and health centers in Kifi, something like only a quarter. A quarter means something like 3,500. We will have them in court. But now we are down only 124. So how? One of the strategies, how to get these cases come out to the authority so that people can be prosecuted, people can be jailed. You realize that's one of the issues. People have a way of solving these cases in the village level, and that's all. They agree, they give him something, pop, the case is closed. Motorbike riders, boda, they have been mentioned in a big number. If we will have taken some to court, he will say, do you know, John is in court, is facing charges of defilement. You know what else will say? Kumbe ni under 18. The others will say, kumbe ni under 18. We are not going to joke with this one. They will even be asking age whenever they approach a girl. They ask, how old are you? Oh, I'm 17. I will get in trouble. That's one strategy we have.
The rising number of teen pregnancies led to the formation of a committee by the county government of Kilifi to investigate the problem.
We are rolling down campaigns on teenage pregnancies in Kilifi, in all the sub-counties, and then further go down to the ground and have intergenerational dialogues with the different stakeholders, the children themselves, the parents, boda, village elders.
The parents themselves are so much ignoring the boy child. It's so much ignored. It's not advised. It's only the girl child who told him, you do this, you will get pregnant. This boy is involved in such activity. It is seen, it is normal, and it's good. The parent of the boy he has no issues. But the parent of the girl will have issues. Because if the baby boy will have the same information the baby girl is having about her pregnancy, we might start walking towards a certain direction.
Mimi ningeomba serikali hata iingilie hata feeding program, watoto wawe wanakula pale shule wakishiba. Angalau hiyo pia ni changamoto ya watoto lunch kurandaranda na kutafuta mabodaboda pia kuwasaidia chakula.
As the number of young mothers increases, so too do numbers of school dropouts at all levels, from primary to tertiary. Data from past studies show that about 13,000 girls drop out of school each year in Kenya due to pregnancy. Even though there is a school policy in Kenya to encourage girls to return to school after they give birth, many often feel too stigmatized or have no help to look after their children and therefore stay away or get married. Some have opted to join vocational training centers.
If she gives birth at 15 and is not willing to go back to school, chances of getting another baby at 17 are very high. So what can be done to make this girl being engaged? Can they be assisted to learn some skill? Because an empowered woman is an informed woman. An informed woman is a woman who can make a good decision.
To address the root cause of teenage pregnancies in the country, former Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed ordered the Quality Assurance Team in the Education Ministry to investigate and file a report of all cases of pregnancies among schoolgirls. Its recommendations are yet to be made public. Adolescents aged between 10 to 19 years constitute 24% of Kenya's population. The teenage pregnancy rate stands at 41%, more than double the national prevalence of 18%, according to figures from the Kenya Demographic Health Survey of 2014. The survey indicates that 1 in 5 youth aged 15 to 24 years reported sexual debut before the age of 15. Almost 1 in every 5 girls aged 10 to 19 in Kenya is expectant or a mother. The upsurge in teen pregnancies is now turning out to be one of the biggest headaches in the education sector. It is because of such scenarios that some people have argued for the need to introduce comprehensive sexuality education in schools. The debate on whether to introduce sex education in both primary and secondary schools fizzled into thin air, with its echoes being heard 4 years ago when the Ministry of Health launched the National Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health Policy 2015, which advocates comprehensive sexuality education for 10 to 19-year-olds, including access to contraceptives. The need to provide sexuality education for Kenya's youth remains a sensitive subject. Controversy sails around sex education. Is it valuable or detrimental? Those supporting sex education argue that children need to be aware of themselves and their surroundings as they grow up to prevent problems related to sexuality and reproductive health.
The truth of the matter, they are active. Very active. Waswahili wanaiwa kusema, muficha uchi wake asai. The moment as we continue learning away from this truth, that these children are very active, we are just learning down to the ditch. But the moment we come out and face the reality head on and address it, whether it's through sex education.
Where we need sexuality education, I would say it's because if we don't equip them with knowledge, skills, and all that to really take care of themselves, then where do we go? When you start talking about teenage pregnancies, when we start talking about sexually transmitted infections, when we start talking about pregnancies, abortion, most of the people who are procuring abortions are young people, 19 to 24, just because they are already engaging in sex, they are unprotected sex and all that.
Kwa sababu watoto wetu wanaharibika sana. Hao mafundisho yafanywe, lakini yasiende tu kupitia mpaka. Kwa sababu sahihi wanapeana hata condoms kwa watoto, ambao hizo condoms pia zinazidisha hizo hali.
The church has, however, been firm that sex education must not be included in the new curriculum.
The church is totally opposed to the so-called comprehensive sexuality education because it's foreign. It is not Kenyan. It is not from here. It is pushed by multinationals who have interests to sexualize our teenagers so that they can sell contraceptives. And part of what they say is that a child who is in class 2 and class 3, we teach them about their sexual organs and show them how they can maximize their feelings and feel nice. For my class 2 child and my class 4 daughter, we do not think that that is right for our society.
It is not education. Actually, it is de-education. It's the destruction of children. And to allow it to be disseminated in our institutions the way it is, raw material as it is, which is very destructive. I could even call it pornographic material.
Those who oppose it think that comprehensive sexuality education is teaching children about sex, while those of us in the know believe that comprehensive sexuality education is good because it provides the age-appropriate messaging so that the young people know what to do at every time as they grow up. So it empowers them to know the choices they have in terms of decision. They know what to do in terms of when their rights are violated, and therefore it's an empowerment rather than a way of probably compromising the morals. And I think that's a challenge for organizations and government that is involved in the implementation, to make the community aware that this is what comprehensive sexuality education is and this is what it is not. Because for now, what the community has as a view on this is that it is something negative, it is something that is going to spoil our moral fiber as a community, and that's a narrative we need to change.
A study released in April 2017 by researchers from the Kutamaka and African Population and Health Research Center found that most teens want to know more about contraceptives, an admission that they were already sexually active.
Young people are already having sex, so we need to start having the conversations within our norms, but also help the young people realize that even when the society teaches on abstinence, for those ones who are having sex or those ones who have already initiated sexual activity, what about them? They are not abstaining. They need information about safe sex practices, and that's the barrier that the social norms do not want to cross.
The explosive report indicates that without guidance, young people face a dilemma, preventing pregnancy from occurring without the support necessary to do so.
Most people talk about talking to young people about sex. It will expose them to more knowledge about sexual activity and all that. But the studies have been conducted. It shows there's no link. Actually, it reduces the risky sexual behaviors because they are already informed on what they can do.
According to a December 2017 report by the United Nations Population Fund, over 300,000 adolescent girls in Kenya aged between 10 and 19 became pregnant between July 2016 and June 2017. More than 20,000 girls aged between 10 and 14 years were pregnant, while over 300,000 girls were between 15 to 19 years. 51% of new HIV infections and 13% of AIDS-related deaths occur among young people aged between 15 and 24.
When we talk of so many people, young people engaging in sex, do we have an authentic research? Because we make trumpets 2 or 3 or 4, then we say there are so many. Let us have statistics which can surely guide us. Because when we say many, are we talking of 50%, 60%?
This is not the first time that young people have become pregnant. This has been happening maybe even for the last 100 years. What we should be shocked about is how we have taken sex to be very casual and therefore exposed young people to issues on sex that are not really helpful to them.
The damning statistics indicate the issue of teenage pregnancies needs a collaborative approach to deal with it.
I think what the study found out was that there are aspects of sexuality education that are already in the schools, and especially the life skills curriculum, but they are not comprehensive. As in, they just touch on bits and bits of sexuality education. The National School Health Policy now, it came in 2018, that is last year. And it also talks about the provision of sexuality education and integration of the sexuality education within the curriculum. So I would say that is a step forward. But then we need to see the implementation of the policy, and that's where the challenges are. The teachers are not well trained to offer this, and again, going back to the social norms.
Yes, children need education,
Children need to be formed, but first beginning with the parents, then with our institutions. But even in our institutions, we need homegrown material available to our children, which we are aware of as Africans and as religious people, both Christians and Muslims, to be made available to children at that particular stage.
Children, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds are getting pregnant, some of them by teachers. And when you check the internet, the pornography platform is open. I ask myself, what do we think we are doing? It is better the parent starts talking about sex to the child, and also the teacher at school starts teaching the child, so the child understands her body. How many of you have sat down with your daughters? You see? So that the sex education starts at home.
One challenge is the way parents package information about sexual and reproductive health, and especially when talking to young people. One way they do it is instilling fear. If you do this, I'll beat you up, I'll chase you away from the house, I will kill you. That's the way information is packaged, but then don't go ahead to tell them. This is what it entails. This is what you need to take care of yourself. This, all those details about sexual and reproductive health issues.
The church stands for chastity. The church stands for purity, that every child, every woman, every male will keep pure until they get married.
Catholic Church has published a variety of books about comprehensive family programs. The Church's traditional teaching about sex education is that it should not be primarily a matter of giving explicit information.
We are not saying no to sex education. The ministry is aware. We have presented this. We have also talked to the Senate, those who are dealing with the matters of education, and we have presented our Catholic view. And the document is here when we met them. What we have in mind should be done in this country.
Where we are helping children to acquire skills so that when they are faced with matters concerning sex, they are able to make informed decisions. It is KICD approved. And this program ensures that children starting from age 10 up to age 14, that is class 5 to class 8, they continuously are given information and opportunity to practice skills on assertiveness, on how to say no.
Another controversy is centered around a proposal by Court of Appeal judges for a law to lower the age of consent to 16 years.
Unless if we are saying we are going to lower the age of adulthood in Kenya so that teenagers will vote at 16, will get IDs at 16, they become adults at 16 and live their lives, make decisions.
Some of them, I consider them crazy, to be frank. That means you are allowing for more room for these predators to have room and access to more children. Now, that is not a solution.
As the debate on whether to introduce sex education in schools continues, amid rising concerns about teen pregnancies, the spectre of a country full of illiterate young girls, largely due to early motherhood, seems ever more real. It is a threat that cannot be ignored, as it may reverse gains made towards improving the standards of education and healthcare for all Kenyans.